everyone. Welcome to another awesome day where we're learning the FileMaker platform and making it awesome and work for you. I'm Richard Carlton, creator of FMTraining.tv, where we do awesome FileMaker training, helping everyone make better applications. Why? Because the world needs better apps, because the world is full of software that sucks. So just ask me about my Toyota minivan and the interface for the stupid radio in it. So everyone, welcome. We're going to have an awesome day today. It's a pickup continuation of the conversation from yesterday. So I'm going to put myself over here. So once again, we're going to be doing the server client comparison in real time kind of conversation, right? We're going to be very exciting. We are going to pick up the conversation and try to include everyone so they know what is happening. So a couple of updating information here just before we get going. First off, this broadcast is brought to you by FMTraining.tv, where we create great FileMaker training every day, almost every day, probably 6 days a week. Great FileMaker training. Most of it's live, but there are a bunch of video courses that are not live. And so once again, if you want to help make sure that you support this channel, make sure you buy our training. We have training bundles here. You can get individual courses, but we really don't sell the courses individually anymore because it's just, there's so damn many courses that we just put them into a bundle so you can buy the bundle so you either get everything or you don't. So this is a complete training bundle right here. We have a super special amazing deal. If you'd want that, email us at support@RC Consulting. We'll send you the coupon, or I can try to post it, although once again it's just me here today by myself. And then if you want just say you already don't really need anything but just the video training, then you've got the learning bundle right here. So the broadcast today is I try to keep it useful for beginning and intermediate people, but a lot of senior people tend to hijack the broadcast, so we have to watch out for that. Mandatory, we call Nick. Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
Hey, oh,
hello.
You're a little loud. Hang on, I'm gonna turn you down a little bit.
Oh yeah.
You're a little bit loud. Hang on, stand by. So that's the impromptu edition of the Nick. What I'm doing is I'm showing sorting in FileMaker, Nick. I'm actually on my screen. I actually have logged on to a FileMaker server, right, Nick? And
yes.
And no one else is logged onto it. And then so that's this machine over here, and I actually can see the processors running, right? And they're kind of idling along, not very busy, which is a copy of starting point that's kind of like with lots of records. And so we're going to be doing sorts today. Yesterday we were doing finds and some other stuff. Today we're going to do sorts. We're going to watch how it works. Now, this gets back to the conversation I sent to you. Remember, I asked you to reach out to the Claris team and get information about the cache, right? Because what FileMaker does is as you use the records in the database, the records, like for example, if I zoom in over here, you can see there's 259,000 records. As you use those, it caches them and saves them locally on the computer. And I'm trying to figure out when they are purged, because it used to be when you quit FileMaker or restarted the computer. And I can tell you right now that is not the case. They do not.
No, it's not the case. So it's purged only if you run some custodial computer scripts. This is no longer a FileMaker concern. It's a OS concern. So whatever the OS behavior or regarding cache, that will drive if the cache is getting wiped out or not. It's not a FileMaker concern.
Okay. Well, the one thing, of course, we did see this yesterday is that FileMaker will verify that the client will verify it has the relevant records it needs. So
yes.
So I am in a database right here, right now. I am going to I'm just going to do a find right now. This is a leftover from yesterday. I'm going to do a find for everyone with the letters. How about W, right, in the first name? It does the find. As you can see, once again, there's a little bit of action here. Nick, you're going to have to imagine this, but I've got the activity monitor on the server and the client side by side on my screen. In fact, I can, let me just, I could share my screen with you, Nick. Let me try that. Hopefully,
I'm seeing your screen on on Discord.
On Discord. You're on Discord. Okay, great, perfect. Then you can see it. So, so I just did a find. It was an index find. There was almost no traffic. There's a little bit of data right there where it sent us down a little bit of data that we needed of the found set. Remember, when you go into a FileMaker file and you're on a data entry, a form view, FileMaker is going to get 25 records of all the data from your current location. So it downloaded the first 25 of these, right, already, of the 6303 right here. It does that 25. If you are in a list view, we go to list view, it's going to download all the records it needs to display here. Notice that nothing happened over here when I did that. That's because the 25 already encompassed this, right? So it's very, very, very important. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to right click on this. There's a little bit of a delay, and I'm going to say sort ascending. So we want to see what happens on the sort, right? And so it's spinning, it completes it, it's 6,200 records. There's a little bit of data happening here. And so this brings up a really important topic, Nick. Nick, it's something that I have never articulated it before in training until about the last week. And basically there is the three things that we have to be concerned about in the FileMaker platform. One is moving the bits of data down from the server to the client for the most part. And then, of course, little bits that go back. That's one. Two is understanding that FileMaker is going to cache almost everything as down on the client if you're using Pro or Go. And the third thing is the performance consideration is that you can run into performance slowdowns even though maybe no data comes down, but the data is already cached locally. It's what I call the churn, the churning. It's like I had a video of a washing machine somewhere. I don't know where that went, but there we have this churn, and the idea is like if you're the term goes back to making butter or milk or things like that. If you have a process that you're vigorously mixing and doing work and you're not really adding new items, right? You just got the existing items. You have your cache. You're spinning vigorously in a circle, processing, doing something. That's the churn. And so your performance hit in the world of FileMaker will come from bringing the bits down and or getting a process that does a churn. So you can actually do a sort here, and the data is already in the machine. So the data is already cached locally. There's nothing to bring down, but if we're sorting 259,000 records, right? So I've downloaded the W's. Let me just I'm going to do an S, and let me bring out all the S's and the T's, so I have a bigger found set. That's 26,000 records. Let me do a sort now. Here comes the sort, and we're going to watch it over here. Probably there will be, there's the data coming down right there. See that? It's bringing down the data that we need because, once again, sorts occur on the client. Now, FileMaker's talking about maybe adding a feature where the sort can occur on the server, but generally it doesn't work that way. What happens is what actually happens is that the sort occurs on the client, so the server sends it down. This is the server just reading it off the hard drive, the SSD, shoots it down the network, and then the local client does the work, right? So if I do a find all and I find all the, let's say I want to find all the A records, okay? So I'm going to find all the A records. Say I do a sort right now, okay? Very interesting. Once again, the same thing will probably happen. It's going to bring down the A records here, and then it's going to a little bit higher there because it's churning. It's bringing the data down and churning at the same time. Now, I'm going to go back to the S and T records. So I'm going to go do my find. I'm going to say the S records and the T records. And I have the same found set I had before. Now, when I do the sort this time, FileMaker will churn, but you'll see no data come down from the server at all. So you ready for this? So we're going to run that. And notice that there's churning over here, and no data comes down because it's using it entirely from the cache, right?
The cache, yeah.
Yeah. And so basically what FileMaker will do is it will periodically check to make sure the cache records, we saw this yesterday, Nick, you weren't part of this, but we could see where we had all the records, and the idea was that FileMaker would check to make sure it had the latest ones. It's almost like it sends like a list of IDs, the record IDs, right? Or something like that.
Yeah. Actually, Clay cracked the nut a little bit during his session that it's the B tree, So I encourage everybody to go online and check what the B tree is. It's like a catalog with references and the reference A underscore 300. This is a bottle, okay? So it's a red bottle, okay? So
a red bottle.
Right. Yeah. It's whatever. It's like a catalog. So when you go to the reference of the catalog and you find the thing in stock, you don't need to order the part, right? It's in stock.
Right.
Okay, I have it here.
Oh,
right?
it's in inventory.
So,
Yeah.
inventory. Okay, exactly. So this is a great example of what we're talking about. Keep your things straight. When you use sort, you need to know why you need to sort things. Do you need to sort things? Do you need, for example, to sort 25,000 records, right? So that's why you say most of the time you need to get as little of a record number as possible. Then you stay in what you demonstrate right now, the cache.
Right.
So everything you do will be fast, search and sort and whatever, right? So it's great. That is a great demo, actually. That's one of the best I ever saw.
Yeah, it's pretty good because it helps, because everyone can set this up yourself. In fact, as a beginning person, not so much, maybe care. Once again, the beginning people in the process of learning, this green person here, they're just happy it works at all. They're happy it works at all. It doesn't crash. It does what it's supposed to do. The numbers add up. They're correct. Then you get over here and you start to share the database with people. And a lot of you are already at this level, or potentially even over here, TK and Andre and a bunch of you here. I can't name all the people. The idea is that you start worrying about performance when you get over here. And so I want to ask you a philosophical question, right? So I think I know the answer to this, but I want to hear you explain it. So let's just leave WebDirect out of the conversation for the moment. So with Pro and Go, if FileMaker is going to cache, like for example, let's just talk about this. So this is an extreme example. So I have all the records in the found set. I have 200 and almost 60,000 records. I'm just going to sort them right now, okay? Once I do this, the entire table of data for this table will be downloaded to my file. So it's starting to download. So we already downloaded the A, the W, the S, and the T, because I already did work on those, right? And if I did a sort, and so now it's downloading all the rest of the records, which will take it a minute or two. And so the question is do we still care about sorting records if they're all cached locally, right? I mean, it runs faster, but it's still not, instant, right? I mean, do you see what I'm saying? Like, I can see people say, well, they will suffer for a little bit. Like right now it's spinning and your boss is going to, if your customer is going to be going, hey, this is horrible, right? And so, I mean, I guess one philosophy is that just suffer now, suffer through it, and it'll all be cached on your computer.
That's something, yeah, it's a great question. That's something I'm using sometimes when I have to deal with reporting. So, because most of the time we deal with reports, you deal with a chunk of data and you sort them in a different way. Then you can use the sub-summary sorted by, you have all the goodness that FileMaker is giving you. But that means that when you do a complex, very evolved kind of reporting, you have a big giant PDF generating, for example. Like I have a customer like that. He has a 148-page PDF. When you need to do this, I use this technique. I'm loading everything. So that's easy. You just go, you open a layout, and you go list view, and you go to the last one. That means it's loading all the data. Okay, I'm loading the data, and I'm loading the field that I need to load. Okay, when I do this, so as you said, you suffer sometimes, but everything I'm doing next after that will be like bum 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 bum, much faster. Right?
Well, okay, so just to be clarify on that, I am not sure that going to list view and just telling it to go to the end, because it might jump to the end, right? In which case you'd miss the records in between.
Yeah, but that's the technique.
You could page down. I'd want to check that just between you and me. Now, real quick before I want to point this out, it brought all the records down, and right there, it quit bringing all the records down. Then the server, or then the client, did this big churn, once again the churn, C-H-U-R-N, to generate the sort. Now, if I go Command J, I find all, or I want to find a B or something like that, I have 17,000 records. I do a sort ascending. So once again, all the data now is down. All the records came down. All it's going to do is it's going to no data comes down. It's going to churn and kick it out. And so this is a potential strategy. what I want to do is I want to point out here, if I go to script workspace here briefly, what we do this a little bit in starting point. Okay, so you go to preferences and you say startup script, okay? So one of the tricks that I do to make sure that people feel like it's as fast as possible is think about this logically. When someone opens up an app and it's spinning up, they're going to be a little more patient for it to spin up. And especially the first time in FileMaker, it's going to take longer. So we did a test of FileMaker starting point 6, I think, at the time, which would be pretty similar to 7 at this point in terms of what we're talking about. I set the server up in Japan. I opened it from the United States. If I had never opened it before, the open time was 21 seconds. And then if I quit everything and I reopened it, the open time was 7 seconds. That started with FileMaker 15, that performance improvement, and it gets continuously better with each release. That's why you want to. That's why people say, "Oh, I don't want FileMaker. I like FileMaker 14 or 13 or 12." Yeah, but you're not getting the performance improvements that you should have. Yes, you have to spend money, but you get faster product that's frankly better and less buggy, right? Because it's stable. So what we do is to kind of take advantage of this. Is I say, since people we know are going to be more patient, my startup script says open everything up, and then what it does is it jumps. What it'll do is it jumps in a couple spots. It jumps to like the contact. It loads the calendar stuff here. If you go to the startup script, you should definitely go look at this. Here it is right here. Now I actually say this in line 109, and this is should be pretty close to 109. Navigate to the commonly used layouts in FileMaker so it caches the layout objects in the making performance faster. So it takes longer, but then when someone clicks on contacts or invoices or accounts, it goes right to that layout quickly because the data is already there. So I kind of front load it a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Now, you could go to these layouts and then tell it to do a sort, and then the computer might take 5 or 10 minutes to open up. That would probably suck, but that's kind of the same concept to cache it down, right, Nick? I mean,
when I say go to page, I was saying go to the last page. I mean, when you open the list view, you go in preview mode and you go to the last page of the.
Okay.
Then you cache all the data. Advantage is much faster than sorting because you just load. You don't
actually do the sort, because we saw that in the chart. It would load it and then it churned to actually generate the sort. Yeah. So I'm not saying you should do this. I'm saying that you can cheat around the edges a little bit. I consider this kind of cheating, but it's just smart. You want to put the slowdown where people will accept it. Because if it takes them 20 some odd seconds to open starting point up, and they're like, oh, finally it's open, and then the first thing they do is they press the button here, and then they have to wait more. Then it's just like, oh, well, I have to. Then they will think it's always going to be this slow. Oh, it's just always this slow, right? And so you front load the pain a little bit on the first open, and then you kind of go from there. So it's.
But this is not cheating though, because OSs, Mac OS, Windows, using the same techniques to appear faster. I don't know if you go to the Mac and you say, okay, hey, show me all the size of the folders, right? You don't get the size of the folder instantly,
Right.
It's the OS will cache everything and then keep in cache, right? So it's the cache method is not.
I know it's not
unusual.
Cheating. It's just but it's a new skill set. If you're a brand new developer, intermediate developer, you maybe didn't even know about this, right? And once again, I don't know you want to execute a thing to load all the records down, because think about this from this perspective. This is a pretty good connection, but if you're actually accessing the data on an iPad or something, and here's the other part of it. I think there's probably a practical limit to, like, you could easily have a database that's 15 gigabytes of text. I don't know how much cache. Once again, this gets back to, like, it would be really great to have a good conversation with Claris and have an ongoing conversation, because we could explain this to everyone. I am sure there's a limit to the amount of cache that you can set up. We're not talking about, like, when you go into FileMaker, there is this if I go over to FileMaker, you go to
I can tell you the limitation of this.
Okay, well, hang on. It's not this. So when you go into FileMaker, you can set the amount. This is the amount of RAM memory that's dedicated, which is the fastest. By default, this is a really small number. I always, it's like 128. I normally always set mine to a bigger number, either 1024 or 2048. But I have to make sure all my computers are at least 16 gigabytes of memory, of RAM. So what is the cache limit, Nick? Because it's basically limited by the hard drive size, right?
Yeah, it is. That's the limit.
Yeah,
The hard drive
but on an
size.
iPad or on an iPhone, you've got a lot more limit of space. Like my iPhone is always running out of space, right? I don't buy the 200 gigabyte iPhone, right? Because it's like a billion.
You need to use that wisely, and it's.
Use it wisely. Hey, John Haggerty, welcome. So, you guys are awful quiet. Nick is here. And it's mandatory that you ask questions, so you must immediately ask questions, or I'm just gonna like cause it. It's like 1:30. We're good. We're done. You've learned everything. We're done for the day, right, Nick?
What's something that is important to know about the file size, the cache, and stuff like that? It's how healthy your solution is in terms of indexes. So both are going together. The cache, the file size, and the indexes. So your solution must be extremely healthy in terms of indexes. It's maybe that's a topic by itself. Indexes in the FileMaker solution.
Well, you could always come up. You'd always come back tomorrow. We could talk about it.
I can. Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Index is very simple. It's a concept that is simple to understand, and I have a technique that is simple to use to manage your indexes.
TK55, you can see it says it's superb. UUID and indexes, partial or full. In the index is a word separator.
Yeah, we can what's the name? We can talk about that tomorrow. There are indexes, UUIDs. Why they brought the UUID numbers. That is part of it. Is to have because nobody use the serial number anymore. Everybody use UUIDs for obvious reasons, and we are going to talk to that about that tomorrow.
UUID and indexes, partial, or is it or full? Is that what Andre meant? Or full?
Yeah, that's what.
Well, the partial index is for valueless, right? Isn't that what you need for valueless, Nick? And then
valueless and search. The full is to use for a relationship.
Okay, so let me.
Sorry. The partial is for relationship and full is for.
All right. So what I want to do is I want to go to field definitions. I want to discuss what he just said, so everyone understands it. So if I go to here's an index one right here. Okay. So if I go to the field definitions, I can zoom in here a little bit, and I say storage. We've got indexing none, minimal, or all, right? So none is no indexing, which makes it go slow. Minimal is what you need for what again, Nick? One more time.
Let's double check on my own because each time I'm getting confused with this. So
how about you go check and then yell at me in a second?
Yeah.
You go, okay. So mute yourself. Go check. And we make sure we get it right because I don't want to lie to people. UUID number.
Yeah, okay. No, I got. Minimal is for relationship, and all is for searches.
Yeah. Because remember the way the relationships work. Relationships basically work off matching a value list, elements of a value list, right? Right, because you can have a value list on one side and it's multi. Yeah. So. So this is relationship, this is search. I normally don't split the difference myself because of all the things in life to worry about. I don't really worry about it because you can fix all your performance issues just with other issues. Andre says UUID doesn't work with JSON as it gets returned as scientific notation. Both work in relationships. Full index takes words of fields and dash. And, well, yeah, see, so... Okay, well, that's an interesting thing because UUID number was created because it's much higher performance for relationships in general than doing UUID, regular UUID. So for those of you who don't understand this, so this is a little bit, Jake, am I Is this useful for you? Because I'm thinking about Jake and Bunny. I don't know. We haven't seen Bunny. I guess Bunny gave up on us. We were doing too much advanced stuff. But it is pretty late there. If I go to the, let me zoom out. Let me go to the tools. I go to the data viewer. I can go to the watch. We can create a new one. This is really unusual, or really useful. If I can say get UUID, this is what a UUID looks like, right? This cryptic pile of, that's it. So you see that? Okay, so this is the conversation that Nick and Andre are having a little bit. So this is what Claris originally had, okay? It's a alpha and number thing mix, okay? For relationships, you want this one. So they're both kind of equivalent. They're very random string. The chance of getting an identical match is like 1 in 14 billion or something like that. If you have a database with millions of records in it, this will give you higher performance, okay? So when we did the starting point enterprise solution, we used UUID, and they should have, hopefully, I haven't verified this, but they should have used UUID number on that, right? So that's what that's about. So Andre says UUID doesn't work with JSON as it returns scientific notation. Yeah, both work in relationships. UUID number will be faster in relationships.
Yeah, but you don't have to set up the field as a number to use this as a UUID number. You set up the field as text, and you said get UUID number, and then you don't have the scientific return.
Right. Oh, I see. The scientific notation. Okay, yeah. So Ken Tooley says, is it better because the number format versus text? Yes, that's for relationship driving. That's why that is. Yeah, it's faster. No, wait, well, it's okay. Here's the thing: if you don't have a million records, I don't know it matters. But when you start talking enterprise, like we do talk enterprise here because we're the only ones to talk about enterprise, it becomes important, right? There are a handful of people, Josh Ormond, and Wim DeCord, and some people, and Jesse Barnum, obviously. These people can do heavy duty stuff. They know about this. Obviously, the guys at Skeleton Key know about it. PCI, all the if you've got a consultant who's been in the business at least 10, 15 years, they know the differences and what that's about.
No, so. the file format, the field format text or number or time. No, it doesn't have any. That is a Ken Tooley kind of answer. Is it better? Is it better because of number format versus text? No. It's if you talk about the field format, no, it's better. Text or number are the same.
For relationship, Nick.
Yeah, for field format. When you say text, number, or time, dates. Performance-wise, doesn't have any incidents.
Okay. Well, that's not well. Okay. So I'm not okay. You guys are splitting the difference between a field definition and the UUID number. The reason UUID number is there because it generates faster performance.
Period. Exactly. No. I'm talking about the field format.
The field format. Okay.
Yeah.
I was unaware of that level of hair splitting, so that's once again why we bring Nick here. Andre has a question. I'm gonna let him answer. Okay. I want to. Let me. It's over in. It's a different kind of question. I'm going to read it out loud. Andre, it's on YouTube. Says, a few weeks ago, Nick said it would be clever to reset indexes, but it's a pain to reset them all field by field. How do you just do a block reset of the field indexes? You run a recover command, is what you do.
No, yeah, that's another way.
Okay, what other way do you want? Besides, what else can you do?
Save as compacted copy.
No. That doesn't re-index, does not do rebuild indexes.
It doesn't rebuild?
No, I don't think so, no. The recover does because it's an option in there.
If
you say recover, and then you select a file. So this is the bulk in an advanced recover. So what you could do is you could turn, you could do all this stuff if you wanted, but the item that you really want is this one right here. And rebuilds all of them in a file. But you can't do this while the file's hosted. You have to take the file offline. So that's how you do it. It's kind of like carpet bombing. One thing does all. The compress. Okay. So if you go right here, compress logical. I guess you could do a compress right here, Nick, and then do the people are asking the question, if you just went up to File, down to Save a Copy As.
I have to double check because I knew that they changed their save or
What the hell?
That says you can't.
What
because
the
you have-
hell?
your-
They
your
got
file
rid
is
of
only
it.
shared.
They got rid of it.
No, save as a copy as
Oh,
you can't because your
it
file
has
is
to be.
shared.
No, it's being. I need to find one that's not shared. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. That's fine. You get the idea. That's how you do that. Well, I have to get a load. This is a hosted solution, so.
Yeah, I think when you do a compacted copy, you get rid of the index and then it rebuilds it when you open the file.
I got $100. Nick says you're full of. Okay, so $100.
Okay.
All right. So,
Okay.
all right. There we go. That's fine. All right. We will find that out. Someone's going to owe someone $100. Luckily, I have stacks of $100 right here, ready to go.
Pretty sure he's doing it.
No. Well, then I'm happy to give you $100 right here, Nick. So come and get it, baby.
I mean, I was very aware about this behavior because of the starter solution, where they were asking me to actually to do that for that reason. So
Andre's there, says 3 things that we need for server-side source. So at the DevCon conference, they're saying, oh yeah, server-side source, we're testing those in ETS. I'm trying to get a hold of that ETS because I'm testing the Pro ETS and it's not in there. It must be a server-side ETS or something. So anyway, so that's a good answer question there. Andre had the question. We answered that question.
No, I was reading what their copy of their structure, the save as compacted copy, actually is rebuilding the entire structure of the file. So I don't know what it's doing about the indexes.
It's not doing the indexing, trust me, because you would see it happen. Yeah, it does all other maintenance. It's important maintenance, but it's not an index rebuild. All right, folks, thank you.
Thank you.
Just stepped up the whole way. Calm, cool, collected the quarterback. Great read, good patience. More importantly, great job up front protecting this quarterback to give you a chance. And that's all you can ask for.
Trying to rally down 10. 9:25 to go here in the fourth. Short motion by Amendola from the left. Brady takes the shotgun snap. Stands in, throws it left for Amendola. Reaches up and snacks a high throw and lands inside the 10. Rolling to the 9. Ball slightly behind him, but Danny makes the grab.